Happy Homebrew Wednesday, guys. Drinking my winter warmer still. It's going on, what, 3 weeks now. Got about 6 or 7 of these puppies left. And yeah, it's doing pretty good. This week, had a little bit of progress with the pale ale. Went ahead and bottled those up. Got a little video to show you sort of my bottling technique. Today, I had a pretty good surprise. I got a package in the mail arriving from my eBay purchases. So I finally got my control panel and all the lights and switches and some power relays and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and take a minute and I'll show that to you. Alright guys, so here's what I've got so far. Got some of the buttons I'm going to require. I decided to, instead of going with the green for the warp pump and the water pump, I chose blue because blue is liquid. Seemed to make more sense to me. So each one of those blue lights will be associated with the pump. Here will be the warp pump. Here will be the water pump. These three switches up here will basically turn on and off the controllers here. So two PIDs, one for the boil kettle and one for the HLT. And the last on the right hand side, this is actually a timer. Up above there, the red switch is for a reset. I'm not actually sure if I'm going to use it or not because there's actually a reset button right here on the front panel of the timer. So I might not include that just to make it a little bit more simple. In the center here, this will be pretty much for turning on the element in the boil kettle and turning on the element inside the HLT. I don't foresee ever having them both on at the same time, but you never know. It's big enough for changes. Up here, I actually had an order, got an extra one of these switches. I forgot to get the key switch actually. Then I'm using a green light in order to signal on that the unit's on. That's instead of the blue one. Over here in the red, I got pretty much a red light that will show up if anything is wrong, and also whenever the timer times up, and then that will signal off the buzzer, which will wake me up when I'm sleeping, when I'm brewing. So that's pretty much the front of the control panel. Actually, as you can see, it's pretty darn thick. So yeah, that's a foot. They say it's a foot, and that's without the door, I think. So I was thinking maybe I could have a sheet metal shop sort of cut it down a bit, make it a little bit thinner. But then I'm looking at the heat sinks on the solid state relays, and I'm thinking, I might be able to just leave them as they are and keep them in the box rather than having them come out the top like the original. So the front of the face does look a little bit different, but similar to what I'm aiming for, which is this guy right here, the electric brewery. And then you can see that I still have some parts to get for, like, here's the inside, and I'm missing actually quite a bit of components here on the inside. I'm missing these variable DC switches, missing some of these boards, and this 50 amp shunt. But I think I'm well on my way to getting there. Like I said, I think the end of September is a little bit optimistic. So at this point I'm going to say, oh, let's try and shoot for November. It's getting pretty busy up here. Yeah, so that's this. Oh, like Home Beer Brewery says, nothing better than a good home brew. Absolutely. Totally agree. Let's see. So that's my update with the control panel. So let's go ahead and show you the clip of the bottling. Update with the control panel. So let's go ahead and show you the clip of the bottling. Okay, so it's bottling day at the Yates's. I've got some sanitizer. I've got some beer. I got the beer bottle, so I'm going to put the beer in. And I've got my trusty makeshift beer dryer, or beer bottle dryer. I just hang the beer bottles upside down. Nothing too fancy. So this is the Australian and the Cooper's Australian IPA mixed together. The Cooper's Australian IPA mixed together with the Cooper's IPA, and it's got a nice color to it. The gravity right now it's set in about 1.009, and this is the tertiary. Just moved it over from the secondary into the tertiary for bottling purposes. That's it. Now the sanitizer that I have here in this 5-gallon bucket is when I actually made the beer. So when I made the beer, I always make up about a 5-gallon batch of sanitizer, and with that, I sanitize all the equipment that I need, but I also keep it covered for 2 weeks down while the beer is conditioning, during the fermentation process, and then also leave it there for after cleaning all I use it to clean all of the stuff when I put the beer into the secondary, and then I'll go ahead and keep it for now from when I'm ready to bottle. So basically, one 5-gallon batch I use for the entire process of a single batch of beer. So generally 5 gallons of beer, 5 gallons of sanitizer, and it lasts through the whole process. So right now, for the bottling, what I usually do is go ahead and I'll empty most of this into my sink down here in the washroom, and then I'll go ahead and I'll just put the bottles into the sink and let them soak for about 4 minutes each, and then I'll put them over here onto the rack and let them dry before I actually do the bottling. See, I used to use one of these in order to clean out the bottles with sanitizer. Do one at a time, and then it gets kind of monotonous one at a time. So I'll just put like 6 bottles in the thing at once, let them soak, and then go ahead and put them on the thing. I find it goes a little bit faster that way. It's a little bit more involved with it, but for me, I think it's better. So let me go ahead and just pour in the sanitizer. The cap is in the bottom, so I know it won't dump out. Alright. Try and do this carefully so I don't splash it everywhere. Now each one of these bottles have been cleaned very thoroughly after I drink them. I rinse them out with really hot water almost immediately after I pour the beer out of the bottle. So they're pretty well good to go. It's just a matter of sanitizing them really well. Put them on the side. Sanitizer up in there. Can you hear them bubbling? I'm pretty happy that I used these 750 milliliter bottles, so they, I don't have to do 50 of them. It's just about 25 per batch. for a few minutes. Turn them around, spin them around. So, sanitizes the inside, sanitizes the outside, and never ever had a problem. So it's always been good. Never had a bad batch, or never had a batch go bad because of that. Good. Shake it up a bit. I'll start to put them on the rack. This is the worst part of the process. It's not that bad. Alright, so I'll go ahead and finish up the rest of these, and then we'll come back. And of course, while we're waiting for those to dry up, I have to drink a homebrew. Oh, very good. Okay. Okay. Alright, now I'm a Cooper's Drops kind of guy. I've never had a problem with these. I know that some people have, but I've never had a problem. So, because theirs are 750 milliliters, they're about 1.5 sizes larger than a normal beer. I'll go ahead and stick 2 of these inside each one. And I'm probably only going to do about 21 of these because since I did the dry hopping, I noticed that when I start out at 23 liters of water, after I do dry hopping, especially with the whole leaves, I'm usually only left with about 21 liters of water. And of course, that takes up quite a bit of final output for beer. So, I've noticed I went from usually 25 bottles down to about 22. Make sure I got this one there. Yeah, about 22 bottles usually. So I'm not going to put these sugar tablets in each one. I'll probably just leave a few without them just in case I don't have enough to fill up all 25. So I'll go ahead and finish this off and continue after that. Okay, so I've got about 20 of the 25 bottles filled with the Cooper's sugar tablets and sugar drops. And now we're going to go ahead and just start to fill them. I've got this all set up, ready to go. And, right, just to bring it up, push the tip in, and it fills it up. I've got one of the other bottle fillers as well, and that's what I usually use. This is actually the first time I've used this Cooper's kit to fill bottles. I can see it goes okay. I think it goes just a little bit slower using this. I think it's just a little bit faster using the spring-loaded one. A little bit of foam there at the top, but that was left over from the SAR stand that was in there. So leaves it perfectly good. Don't know if you can see that, but don't fear the foam. So once that's good, cap goes on there real easy. And it's on to the next one. Comes right up to the perfect height. That's not bad, I guess. It goes up, I don't know, fills up pretty good. It's not bad. That smells awesome. This is the, so the Cooper's IPA and Australian Pale Ale. I dry hopped it with, it was an ounce of Cascade pellets, and I kept that in for 3 days. Well, kept it in the whole period, but 3 days. Started off after, I don't know, after 5 days of fermentation, and then put it in there for 3 days alone. After that, I put in an ounce of Centennial. And then after the ounce of Centennial, after a few days of that, I put in an ounce of Citra. This just smells amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm very happy with the way this smells. It's got a lot of aroma. Even just now, it's a good full bouquet, exactly what I was going for. Would definitely recommend trying that out. I gotta watch it when I fill this. I don't want to spill everything on the floor every time. Probably waste half a beer that way. But lots of foam there. Some of the Star Sand stuff. Boy. Gotta pay better attention to it, I guess. So I was trying to say before, the most important thing during this step is to have a nice chair, or at least something comfortable. A little better. So that's 5. I'll go ahead and do the rest of these, and then we'll come back. Alright, this guy is my new best friend. Let me see here. Can you see that down at the bottom? I've got a little bit of fluid left. And this thing was just amazing to fill up the bottles. Not only did I get my 20 bottles filled, I got 27. Check this out. So I got all 25 here filled, plus 2 more, and a small one, a 500 milliliter one. So 27, and yeah, this is a normal beer. Right, compare these things. This is like a wine bottle size. Yep. This is the first time I've ever gotten so many beers out of just 21 liters of liquid. Usually I waste quite a bit of fluid at the bottom, not putting it in a tertiary, or just because the secondary, the spigot at the bottom, is not low enough. But with this Cooper's guy, with this one, I was able to get just about everything out of it, and it was just absolutely amazing. So I highly recommend that for anybody that is looking forward to filling up some bottles. Good. So that's kind of how I bottle, and you know, it's a little bit bare bones, but it works out. I've never had a problem, and Yeah, I'm glad I started using that new Cooper's fermenter in order to fill the bottles. Worked out really well. So that's about it. I want to thank Larmo22 for mentoring me. Appreciate that very much. Really well. So that's about it. I want to thank Larmo22 for mentoring me. Appreciate that very much. Yep, looking forward to your videos as well. But to everyone else, happy Homebrew Wednesday. Cheers. 17.